Monbasa, Mvita. Topic: survival techniques, lies and propaganda. This is a different topic, a different approach to the way we look at things and the way that things happen. I'm going to talk about masters of false talk, make-believe, and imbalanced maneuvers and propaganda. Propaganda is when one uses lies to convert them to look like the truth, to make a person being deceived take a line of action different from what he or she intended to do. There have been many people who have been well versed in that field, who have used lies, sometimes for very good reasons, and sometimes for evil reasons. It is something that was with the human beings from the beginning, is still with us, is prohibited, but sometimes it is allowed in some areas. I know when I talk of prohibited and allowed, it makes one wonder, how can a good thing both be good and bad? I'm going to delve into this from the historical perspective. Religion. In the Indian books, the Ramayanas, there was somebody who wanted to capture a kingdom, and somebody from that kingdom, a queen called Sita. His name was Ravan. Ravan was a demon king. And the way he came and convinced Sita was he came like a man of the light, a sage, a teacher of religion. And when the lady who was being protected by a line, a magical line, where somebody could not cross because it was fiery, she was the only one who could be able to get through. When she got through, then he changed into his real self and she was kidnapped. It's a long story, the Ramayana. Fight for Sita. Fight for truth. Fight for Dharma. Somebody used a lie to abduct a righteous queen, and the husband and the brother followed, and you have the story of the Ramayanas. Then there is the book of the Bhagavad Gita, or people call it in short the Gita. This one had an interesting person who was good at spinning lies, spinning propaganda, organizing evil, and appearing to look very good at the top of it. He was called Shakuni, wanted to ban his nephew so that they could not inherit their rightful throne, the kingdom, by making a wax house. And the house looked so beautiful. The plan was when they are inside, it be locked from outside, and they light the works. But fortunate to them, an uncle who knew had some people, rat miners, dig holes under the house. So when he set the house on fire, they were able to pass through the tunnel and they went to safety. In the same battle of truth, I talked of the maize battle. And Dharma was so important that Krishna would not allow the one he was supporting to lose. So he went to meet the opponent and ridiculed him and told him it was not in order to do whatever he was doing. And by following what he was told and disobeying what was to help him, he lost the battle. And he did not lose the battle fairly, he lost the battle unfairly. In the same book, Arjun, the best fighter from the other side, from the Pandavas, and Kana from the other side, when they were having war and Arjun was about to win the first day, Krishna deflected the arrow by his powers. So it was not that fair game that the warriors had fought and drawn that day. And when the battle continued, and the best soldier, Arjun, Karna that time, the one who was very good in the field, was about to get up, and the wheel of his chariot got stuck. The other warrior was not supposed to attack when he was removing the wheel. Those were the war ethics. And when Krishna realized that the battle would take longer, he signaled to Arjun to attack with a bow and with the bow and arrows, when Arjun had not prepared himself. He was still removing the wheel of the chariot so that they could engage. This was something that people would say unethical, but sometimes some unethical things happen to achieve ethical things. It is strange to those who are told straight that everything has to be ethical. Sometimes some things happen in an unethical manner. In the same fight, the whole group was scared by a warrior called Sajdrona. He was so fierce in battle that they didn't know what to do. He had devastated their group. So they called a lie. There was an elephant that they were using on the other side, which had a name similar to his son, Aswathama. So they killed the elephant and everybody celebrated. Aswathama has been killed. So this sage, on hearing the son's name, forgot to take care of himself, trying to rush in anger to revenge the son's death, and he was killed. Only the son to realize that the father had been cheated, that he was the dead elephant. We come to the Bible. Jericho. Rahab has strangers. And people in the city come. And they are asking, where are these strangers? And Rahab says, I don't know. Because they came and they left while those strangers are still there. Jacob and the mother, Esau, has been told by the father that he should hunt for a wild game so that he cooks and he's blessed. The mother conspires with his other brother, Jacob, and when he's gone hunting, they slaughter a lamb. Because Esau was hairy, Jacob was smooth-skinned. They take the skin of the lamb, put around Esau, and when he goes, he's placed falsely. David was in trouble with his people, and he went to the enemy land and pretended to be mad, a madman. And the prophets who kept telling the Israelite king when they had been told to surrender to Babylon that they will win, they prophesied wrongly because he paid them money so that they could prophesy for him something different from what the true prophet of God was telling him. And they prophesied to him falsely, and the result was they went to captivity until 1948. That's when they came out of captivity. From the time of Nebuchadnezzar, Joseph and his brothers, they sell him, they cheat the father. He's been eaten by a wild animal. Abraham and Sarah, though they were siblings, step-brother, step-sister, but they were a couple. When they reach Egypt, Abraham tells Sarah, if they ask, say you are my sister, so I'm not killed. And it almost got them into trouble, got the king of Egypt into trouble. And then now we come to the main master that we know in history. The German propaganda minister during the Second World War, Goebbels. He took the word propaganda to a different level. He was able to incense the people in that everything they did, they felt it was holy, it was noble, and even in the battle, they were ready to sacrifice themselves because of the propaganda given. And whenever they reached, they would tell scaring stories to the opponents so that the opponents would get scared. They had lies, war lies, fear-inflicting lies. Tell you on how you have lost. And when you are fearful, they strike. In the present politics, worldwide, politicians have been using the same things. They have lied about some situations to take certain actions. Around the world, they have lied about their economic progresses to convince people of their progresses. They have lied about other people's mistakes to make themselves look clean. This happens when you have politics. You find a person who was tainted with name them all things you can imagine of that can be done economically and politically. Suddenly when the time to present themselves come, they even make those who are doing good things appear to be devils and them to be angels. That is politics, propaganda, lies, and staging things that are there as if they are not there, and things that are not there as if they are there. and vice versa. It happens to politicians around the world, around Africa, around every places, from our villages to our houses, where couples quarrel and sometimes the couples are always blaming each other, even falsely. Children sometimes practice that type of thing to gain favor from parents. Sometimes people are set up by lies so that those who are setting them up look good. And sometimes evil people now pretend to be the best so as to evade something or make the others look bad. And as we go on, we realize that some people won battles through lies. We have an example of the whites who are here, and one of the chiefs cheated him that he should meet with him in a tent for a meeting. And when he tried to kill him unknowingly, fortunate for that colonial master, the knife struck the tent, and before he could be able to retrieve it to attack, he was shot dead. But the Swahilis used it to their advantage and to defeat the Portuguese. There was a Portuguese captain who was taking care of Fort Jesus, and it was very difficult for them to get to Fort Jesus because they had modern weaponry. The others were using bows and arrows and muskets. So the Swahilis cheated the Portuguese that they would like to come to Fort Jesus so that they talk peace. And a few representatives went. But unknown to the Portuguese, the Swahili had hidden many men outside in the area towards the fort. So when they entered and the door was open, and the captain was talking because they had to look for people who knew the language for interpretation, a bit of it. He suddenly drew a dagger and killed the captain, and before they could recover, the people outside had entered and taken over Fort Jesus. For some time, Fort Jesus was under the Swahili until the Portuguese sent reinforcements that were able again to recover that. And this has gone through many things. Sometimes you find it goes through the political spheres, it goes through court spheres, it goes through campaign spheres. So during such a time, we should learn to identify truth from propaganda and avoid being sidelined by propaganda so that we follow the truth and we open our eyes and judge from the truth side of you. It is a world happening that has been there. Big countries, big presidents have practiced it. Big politicians have practiced it. And even the small politicians and people generally have practiced it. Lies, propaganda. Some people use those as survival techniques. So, around the world, when things are happening, be it leadership, be it anything, we should always try to identify, isolate propaganda, lies from the truth. Some countries have even been attacked by false flag operations. People go and dress like your soldiers. They carry your flag. And when you see them from a distance, you think they are your people. And suddenly they are firing at you. Before you can recover, you realize now, those were not your people. They were just enemies dressed in your uniform, carrying your flag, carrying maybe even weapons similar to what you carry. False flag operations. These are survival tactics that people use in everyday life, in warfare. You've heard of people searching for jobs, some politicians, and now a time comes for politicians or for job seekers also in other places. You are told, produce your papers. And many produce false papers, false certificates, false degrees. Others find a way to root themselves around that problem. So as to survive. So also, when systems are dealing with such like things, they should ensure that they are not cheated, because people cheat. There was a time in some place, I will not mention a country, when somebody cheated to be a police, was it a provincial commissioner or a police something senior, and would even be flown in helicopters. Little did people know until when a time came that things became serious, and then his papers were to be presented. And they realized he wasn't even in the force, he was fake. They had saluted for him, they had carried him in helicopters, they had given him everything that is required for the bosses. And the guy was a smart conman. So a situation like this, we have to look from the people, from what they tell us, from what they present, because this is an interesting world. This is a world where liars survive more than those who tell the truth. And sometimes you find you have been put in problems because everything you are told are lies. The presentation of that person was a lie. Everything was false, until when now things come to where now he has to do A, B, C, D, and you realize everything you followed was fake. And sometimes it's always too late. It has even happened in marriages. A man, mostly in Africa, it's men who choose to do that. That is, they have stopped. Many have stopped, but some still do. There are those who will even borrow expensive motor cars from their friends. They drive and they don't have a vehicle. They even go and live in the house of a friend so that somebody sees he's really up there. After he's gotten what he's gotten, then now the guy transforms to himself, and the person is left wondering, the status, the money, and now the guy I'm seeing, is this all I bargained for? So this is a wicked world, but it has been from the past. It still is, will be, but we have to be alert to options being given, if it's politics or whatever, to things happening in life, to the way people present themselves. Try to find the truth out of these people so that we don't end up being cheated. But sometimes people use these lies, interesting, legally, and they get away with it. Because mostly what happens in courts, it's a presentation of what happened. It may not be the truth, but you are able to convince the jury that that was the situation. You go with a win. The person telling the truth loses sometimes. So it's a crafty world. We all be on the lookout so that we don't cheat and we are not cheated. That's my take. For now, I know such topics are not taken and they may appear confusing, but they are the realities in life. That is my take.